If you clicked on this video, then I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt that you're smarter than a fifth grader.
Sometimes my genius it's almost frightening.
However, are we really as smart as we think we are? Now, I would like to think that I'm reasonably intelligent, but even for myself, I know that I fall victim to various cognitive biases. We've done videos on this, in particular, the status quo bias. There are many others out there, the sunk cost fallacy, the availability heuristic, et cetera, and a lot of those, or maybe not a lot, but some of those will help contribute to an inflated sense of self. Now, I don't know if you're falling victim to those, or maybe it's just me, but today I want to talk about a different type of fallacy, one that you've probably never heard of, that I actually think I coined the term for, and that's called the perfect buyer fallacy. As you know, my name is Nick McLean. I've worked in private equity for almost 20 years, and during those 20 years, I have interacted with a lot of business owners, not hundreds, thousands. And what I have come to find is that many business owners, particularly the ones that have smaller businesses, fall victim to what I'm calling the perfect buyer fallacy. Well, what is the perfect buyer fallacy? In my mind, the perfect buyer fallacy means that there is a perfect buyer for your business. Now, I don't know what perfect means for each owner. For one business owner, it might be a huge purchase price. For another owner, it might be a more modest purchase price, but the owner gets to transition out of the business the day after closing, or who knows what the various factors are. But in their minds, they might have the idea of what a perfect buyer would be. And the disappointing part, or not the disappointing part, but the counterproductive part is that there probably is a buyer out there that would give you everything you want for your business. The problem is that I didn't say it's the perfect buyer's fallacy, perfect buyer fallacy, meaning there's one buyer like that. You know, sure, it might be 2 or 10 or maybe even 100. However, it's going to be very difficult to find that 1 or 10 or however many perfect buyer for your business. In order to maximize not the sale price, but in order to maximize the likelihood that you sell your business, I would encourage business owners to move beyond this idea that they need to find the perfect buyer, or not necessarily that they need to find, move past the desire or the want to find that perfect buyer and realize that even though the potential buyer might not be perfect, it's still probably going to be pretty good, and an almost perfect certainty it's going to be better than shutting the business down or the business just going out of business. Even with this knowledge that there's this perfect buyer fallacy out there, it can be hard to completely get it out of our heads. One reason for that is, again, this is my experience, is that business owners talk to each other. They have other business owner friends, and their friends or business owner peers have sold their businesses. And sometimes those people like to talk about how great of a deal they got. Whenever you're around in a social setting and talking about certain things, people tend to embellish. And a lot of times I think that that's what happens whenever people are talking about selling their business and whatnot. So ignoring the fact that perhaps what you're hearing is a bit embellished or one side of the story, the problem in my mind is that exacerbates, or doesn't exacerbate the perfect buyer fallacy, but it lends credence to the fact that, yeah, maybe there really is that perfect buyer out there. And if Joe or Lou or whoever was able to find that really great deal, then I should be able to find that really great deal as well. In my experience, the business owners that are the happiest after the sale are the ones that are being more holistic and also just flexible about the process. I can understand how you might be thinking, well, Nick, you're a buyer. This is all just one-sided information because you want to pay less for our business, or you want a deal that only benefits you. That's not it at all. I firmly believe that anytime we buy a business, it's the beginning of a partnership. And I do not want my partner to feel like I have taken advantage of them. I don't think that's healthy at all. And the even bigger fact of the matter here is that I'm not going to talk to the vast majority of business owners that sell their business. And so I really am not going to benefit at all. However, how we benefit as a city, as a community, is whenever healthy businesses transition to new owners who then continue to grow the business, continue to grow the employee base, and continue to make investment in the company. I'm not purely altruistic here in trying to dispel the propagation of the perfect buyer fallacy, but I do want to interject some objective realism here that most business owners are not going to get everything, literally everything they want out of a sale of their business, but that doesn't mean it's a bad deal. And if being happy after the sale is important to you, then I would encourage you to stop trying to chase perfection and figure out really the qualitative and quantitative measures of a deal that are important to you and figure out where you're willing to give. Now, every situation, every business, every sale process is different, so it's hard for me to go into too many details because run the risk of overgeneralization. So you as the business owner are the only one that is really going to be able to determine that. But I'll just repeat, the transactions that have been the most successful from my perspective are the ones where the business owner is flexible and also where I have had to be flexible as well. I suppose I should have mentioned that earlier as well, is that I don't expect the seller to be the only one that exhibits some flexibility. If you as the business owner are interacting with a buyer and they're wanting you to be flexible and they're not willing to be flexible at all, huge red flag from my perspective. Similar situation from my perspective if the seller is asking me to be flexible and they're not willing to be flexible. To summarize here, what I would like to say is that selling a business is very challenging. There's so much emotional involvement and so many emotional ties to the business that it can make it feel like you really should seek out the perfect buyer so you have this fairy tale ending. In reality though, it's not about perfection. It's finding a deal that works for you. It's finding a deal that works for the company, for the employees, etc. It's going to be different weights that we apply to those different criteria, but you as the business owner are the one that is going to have to determine what's going to work for you, not only to get the deal closed, but what's going to work for you for weeks, months, years after the business closes. Now that you've learned a little bit about the perfect buyer fallacy, and that really was just the tip of the iceberg, if you'd like to learn more about how to mitigate the risk of falling prey to the perfect buyer fallacy, or really just general tips about how to navigate the sale process, you might be interested to hear that I recently launched a course on how to prepare your business and yourself for a sale. In this course, it's really not a sales pitch at all for me. I'm not trying to sell anything. However, I will say that I'm not being entirely unselfish here. In fact, I'm being very selfish because I want more businesses to buy, and a lot of businesses that we wanted to buy, the deals fell apart for reasons that could have been prevented. That's a big part for why we're building this course, is so that ideally folks that we would want to buy a business from, they would go through this course, they would do some of the things that would make the transaction more likely to proceed beforehand, and boom, we've got a win-win situation. The business is worth more, the business owner gets more money, we're able to close more deals because these red flags or concerns were alleviated prior to close. If you'd like to learn more, you can check out the website at presaleprep.com. No risk really, and again, at the end of the day, it's your business. You need to figure out the map, or you need to figure out the strategy to get you to that end goal of selling your business. I think this course is a great way to help prepare you not only prior to the deal or prior to the process, but during the process as well. But if you don't get the education from me, please get it from someone, because this isn't the type of thing that you can just pick up the phone and talk to your neighbor about or talk to some other person about, because selling a business is too important to leave it to chance. If you don't get the info from me, please get it from someone.